It's the news at noon. In the news, resident doctors embark on indefinite strike. President Muhammadu Buhari orders investigation into Thursday's shooting in State House. Multi-Choice Limited, owners of DSTV and GoTV, announces return of live football. On the foreign scene, high-profile journalist Maria Ressa found guilty of libel in the Philippines. In sports, Nigerian forward Taiwo Awoniyi regains consciousness after head injury. The details coming up shortly. Good afternoon. Welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. I am Naomi Young. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered investigation into Thursday's shooting in the State House by his wife's aide-de-camp ADC, vowing that the law must take its course. Reacting to the incident, the presidency, in a statement by the presidential spokesman, Garba Shehu, said the president acknowledged concerns generated by the development, adding that he is not by any means in harm's way. Usman Shugaba, ADC to the First Lady Aisha Buhari, had fired two shots in the precincts of the State House on Thursday night while attempting to apprehend the president's private secretary and nephew, Sabiu Yusuf, in his house. The ADC had led some of his colleagues along with the First Lady and three of her children to Yusuf's house after a heated argument, following the president's wife insisting that Yusuf should self-quarantine after returning from a trip to Lagos. The epicenter of COVID-19 had said Yusuf's refusal to self-quarantine after returning from a trip during the interstate lockdown puts the first family in danger of COVID-19 infection. Members of the National Association of Resident Doctors have embarked on indefinite nationwide strike. NAD President Dr. Aliyu Sokumba announced this while addressing a press conference today in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. He noted that the union has decided to exempt its members working in various coronavirus COVID-19 isolation and treatment centers across the country. Dr. Sokomba, however, stated that exemption of the members attending to COVID-19 patients was for 2 weeks before they joined the industrial action. He explained that the union took the decision to go on strike as a result of the failed series of meetings between the doctors and the federal government in the last 2 weeks. According to the NAD president, the meetings have failed to resolve the lingering industrial disputes, which include the non-payment of special allowances for the resident doctors. They also decried the deplorable state of hospitals and the lack of protective equipment for members of the union treating COVID-19 patients. Dr. Sokomba added that this has exposed many of their colleagues to coronavirus and resulted in the death of some of them. The president of Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for appointing the new president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongba Mensem. In a statement signed by his special assistant media and communications, Pastor Adebayo Oladije, the CAN president commended President Buhari for resisting the pressure mounted on him by some forces not to send her name to the Senate for confirmation. According to the leadership of the Christian body, the confirmation of Justice Dongba Mensem as the president of the Court of Appeal shows that President Buhari is being sensitive to the aspiration and yearnings of the populace to have a country where everyone has a sense of belonging, irrespective of his religious, political, and ethnic affiliations. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has again decried the alleged failure of the President Muhammadu Buhari and his ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) to contain the incessant killings of vulnerable Nigerians by bandits in Castilla, Sokoto, Zamfara, Borno, Kaduna, Kogi, and Taraba State, and other parts of the country. The National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ola Ologbodiyan, said this in a statement in Abuja. The PDP said it was hurt by the horror and cruelty compatriots are facing in the hands of bandits, insurgents, and kidnappers. PDP accused the APC of failing to speak out against banditry, just as it failed to take decisive action to end the menace beyond the usual condolence messages to victims after each harrowing attack on their communities. MultiChoice Limited, owners of DSTV and GoTV, has announced the return of live football from Thursday, 11th of June, to with Spanish La Liga as the country gradually returns to normalcy. The company, in a statement, also announced the resumption of broadcast of the English Premier League from Wednesday, 17th of June, with two fixtures: Manchester City versus Arsenal and Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. Adding that on Saturday, 20th June, the Italian Serie A will resume with Torino playing Parma, while the English FA Cup quarter-finals are scheduled to return the weekend of Saturday, 27 June. The company further assured DSTV and GoTV customers that they will have access to all the action by staying connected. It urged customers to reconnect now to join the excitement of live football. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has announced that the country has recorded 403 new cases of coronavirus, making a total of 16,085. Number of confirmed cases. Making the announcement via its official Twitter handle, the center said the 403 new cases are from 20 states, with Gombe 73, Lagos 68, Kano 46, Edo 36, FCT 35, Nasarawa 31, Kaduna 17, Oyo 16, Abia 15, Delta 13, Borno 13, Plateau 8, Niger 7, Rivers 7, Enugu 6, Ogun 6, Kebbi 3, Ondo 1, Anambra 1, and Imo State 1. According to the NCDC, 5,220 cases have been discharged and 420 deaths have been recorded in 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Away from that, following the recent atrocities rampaging the Nigerian landscape in the area of rapes and incessant murders, a social educator, Mfon Lawrence, says one of the most potent ways to preserve society and ensure sanity is by inculcating values and humane spirit of excellence in children from the household level. Speaking with Planet News, Lawrence believes that it is very rare to see children with solid foundational upbringing growing into nuisance in the society.
I would say as little as 6 months, 8 months, you start raising your child the way you want that child to be. Don't cry again. When I come back, I'll buy you something just to make that child not to cry. And then you go out and come back, you didn't buy that thing. You have deceived that child. You have made that child to understand that when he wants to get something, he has to deceive somebody. When you live a life where your children see you a constant fighter, abusing not just your spouse, but even the people in your environment, tell me why they will not turn out to be touts. You cannot expect your child to be an excellent child, and you're not putting excellence in that child.
According to her, merging good upbringing with the God factor puts everything in perspective, as no one can achieve anything tangible without the help of God.
Parents must learn to commit their children one after the other into God's hands. You're the one living with these children. You see the different attributes, you see their characters. I personally mention my children's characters to God. If I see that this one maybe is easily angered, I will tell God about it. Please take away anger from this child. After you have done training your child at home, the child goes to school. We definitely see people. When you tell God, order the steps of my children, they will know the right company to keep.
You're listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Let's take a breather and bring you more stories from the foreign sport and entertainment sense. Do stay with us.
So, my son, welcome to the Kalangolo Shrine. The gods are with us. What can I do for you?
Baba, the witch do me and I even sick self. I think say him give me HIV.
Eh? No.
What do you mean, Baba?
No way anybody fit use witch give you HIV. If anybody tell you that one, na lie them talk. Because witch no fit give person HIV.
No matter how the wind strong, nobody fit give or carry HIV from witchcraft.
Thanks for staying with us, and now the rest of the news. On the foreign scene, high-profile journalist Maria Ressa has been found guilty of libel in the Philippines in a case seen as a test of the country's media freedom. The former CNN journalist is the head of a news site that is critical of strongman President Rodrigo Duterte. A writer for the site, Rappler, was also convicted Both have been released on bail pending appeal but could face 6 years in prison. Ressa denied the charges and claimed they were politically motivated. But the president said the president and his supporters have accused her and her side of reporting fake news. Elsewhere, a medical examiner in Atlanta, Georgia, has declared the death of an African-American man to be homicide after he was shot in an encounter with police. Rayshad Brooks died while fleeing from 2 white police officers in a restaurant park late on Friday. Protests erupted after his death weeks after another black man, George Floyd, was killed in custody in Minneapolis. In sport, Nigerian forward Taiwo Awoniyi is conscious and responsive after suffering a head injury while in action for Maize in Sunday's 1-0 loss at home to Oxford. This is according to his coach, Hashim. Awoniyi was taken to the hospital on Sunday after he was knocked out after an aerial challenge with Hashim Felix Odoikai. Play was delayed for about 5 minutes before the 22-year-old was stretched off after 23 minutes. Florian scored the only goal of the game after 60 seconds. Following the defeat, Mainz are currently 15th in the Bundesliga table, 2 points above the relegation zone after chalking out 31 points from 31 games. Meanwhile, Mainz sporting director has declared that the club is open to extending Awoniyi's loan deal for another season. On the entertainment scene, New York rapper 6ix9ine has landed another hit as new Nicki Minaj collaboration Trolls garnered the biggest 24-hour debut for a hip-hop video in YouTube history. Trolls surpassed the numbers made by Gooba, which was 6ix9ine's first single since being released early from prison and under house arrest amid coronavirus concern. Trolls had earlier made history in 9 minutes of its release as it broke the record for the fastest #1 song on the US iTunes. The track is also expected to land the second UK top 10 hit in the space of a month as it opens as the week's highest new entry at number 5. It's been the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, but before we go, a recap of the major stories. Members of the National Association of Resident Doctors have embarked on an indefinite nationwide strike. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered investigation into Thursday's shooting in the State House by his wife's aide, vowing that the law must take its course. Multi-Choice Limited, owners of DSTV and GoTV, have announced the return of live football from Thursday 11th of June, with Spanish La Liga and the resumption for broadcast of the English Premier League from Wednesday 17th of June. On the foreign scene, we told you that high-profile journalist Maria Ressa has been found guilty of libel in the Philippines in a case seen as a test of the country's media freedom. And in sport, reported that Nigerian forward Taiwo Awoniyi is conscious and responsive after suffering a head injury while in action for Mainz in Sunday's 1-0 loss at home. For comment and coverage of a newsworthy event, call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. Visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at Planet101FM Uyo. The news was edited by Xavier Roberts and supervised by Otobong Billy. As we end the news, do not forget to continue the COVID-19 education and observe all laid down guidelines, especially for the current reopening of churches. I am Naomi Young. Many thanks for listening and do enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast. Stay tuned for Old School at 12:30.
Wow, how did you put this up in such a short notice?
My secret is Food Affairs, thanks to the professional.
How do you mean?
Well, Food Affairs is a home away from home, where they take the stress away from you and where you get the A to Z of every good food. Food Affairs also offers indoor and outdoor catering service, anywhere, anyhow, anytime. Private dining for your guests and conference hall. Food Affairs is just a dial away on 080-6344-4005. And your stress is off your hands. Food Affairs is located at number 93 Ikorekpene Road, Uyo, number 14